Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indie Comics Explained yet again. I brought another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. Without further ado, I got this guy.
What's up, everybody? I am Dee Rosario from Unstoppable Comics. Been making books since 2008 with titles such as The Storm Chaser, Shield of the Interceptor, New York vs. the World, Curse of the Dragon Storm, and The Dead Princess Vicky Sticks.
I almost forgot the star of the show.
Dude, I've got so much on my mind right now. Jesus. Yes, and she's quickly becoming the star of my whole setup. But that's enough for me right now. I know you got a bunch of guests tonight, so why don't you bring them on out, Calderon?
Because I got to bring this guy on first.
Well, you got to bring that guy on first. The chimp miser.
Yeah, I don't even qualify as a guest anymore. I'm permanent minimum Coco. So
You're like a fixture, bro. You like,
there you go.
Walk into a shop and there's that bench.
And I mean, I think that's an okay thing. I'll take it as a compliment. I appreciate the invite all the time. But fear not, everybody. The Tom experience will be thinning out in a few weeks as football season starts and football games happen on Sunday nights. So you'll have some free time without me from time to time.
See, whatever. It's okay. We got people to bring. What's up, Brian? Please introduce yourself.
Yo, guys. I am Brian Mannell, writer and creator of The Wretched. I just got done with my first successful Kickstarter. I finished fulfillment on that last month, and I'm counting down the days till my Patriots get their butts kicked by the Seahawks yet again on opening day. I was also going to say, don't forget that Vicky Sticks, JD. Vicky Sticks is the bomb.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Thank you. I'll take back what I was going to say about the Patriots. So thank
don't do that. You betrayed. No, you're a Jets fan. Don't take back what you say about the Pats. It's not a Jets fan fashion. Come on.
Yeah, but you said something nice about Vicky Sticks, so decorum.
He's giving you a pass this one time.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate.
Kaden, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, and so I'm Kaden Peace. I'm a first-time comic book creator and the writer of Adam Delta Psi. It's a science fiction superhero tragedy about the first synthetic superhuman.
Cool. What's up, Jake? Please.
How's it going? Thanks for having me. My name's Jake Tipton. I am also a first-time creator, probably the most green here. I just fell in love with comic books last year, so I have a lot to catch up on. My list is massive, but my title, Ashes Over Neon, is also doing a crowdfunding Kickstarter campaign, and it is my first foray into the whole entire industry, so super excited, guys. Thank you again.
All right, cool. All right, gentlemen, we got a show question and answer, so I'm going to make it quick. Let's get right into it. Goals. What are yours, and how do you plan on achieving them? Very simple. Very simple. Now, the way this works, I know a couple of you are new that haven't been here before. Jake, Kaden. Last man in, first man up. Jake.
So
how do you feel?
I am a prior project manager. And when I decided to start doing this, that was my number one question to answer. My little mantra is dream big, plan small. So I said, how do I achieve this goal? And you get all into the nitty gritties of everything. And I was like, okay, do I have a team? No. How do I get started? So then I found, I just reached out to people, networked a little bit, found a studio to collaborate with, and they kind of held my hand, walking me through the whole thing, the whole creation process. And then as I was starting to get into the the craft and everything, I've never how do I say, sequential art is its completely own thing, and I've definitely read enough now to where I can tell when certain stories are kind of like storyboards rather than, comics, if that kind of makes sense. So, the learning curve has been incredibly massive. But, when you ask how to achieve the goal, I'm just like, well, do you want to talk funding? Do you want to talk distribution? Do you want to talk creation? All the different little categories that
Right.
ended up presenting itself. But really, at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? As a creative and as a writer, I just want to find a community that is like-minded. And then I was like, build it and they will come. So, hence the social media train started going, looking for other outlets. Then I came across you. And then, if you want to be part of a village, then you got to be a villager. So this is, me participating and trying to, be involved in everything. So to answer your question, I don't fucking know. Sorry for the language, but I'm still figuring it out.
That's okay. That's okay. We're here. We understand. As far as the language goes, we say fuck here all the time. So it's okay.
Okay.
So,
I was a sailor for 7 years. So I'm just like, once a sailor, always like, I got to remember sometimes my mouth be popping off and everything. So
gotcha.
I shouldn't say anything too crude, but I apologize in advance.
That's all right. Jay and I are from New York, so it's a comma for us.
Okay.
So, Kaden, what are your thoughts on the question?
Yeah, so my goals currently, it's I can kind of cross that bridge as we get to there kind of person. So my goal currently is just to get issue 1 completed. And recently I did get through private funding, I was able to get the first issue fully funded for the interior artwork. And right now I am looking to thank you. And right now I'm looking for a letterer, and then also being able to pay for that. And then I just want to get issue 1 as strong as possible to hopefully pitch to publishers. That's my current goal.
All right. That's fair. Brian, what are your thoughts?
So I'm also kind of a short-term kind of goal, step-by-step kind of person. So for now, what I'm doing is my first goal that I'm trying to reach towards is getting myself prepared for my first opportunity vending at a location in October. It's like a small horror art show that I managed to snag a table for. And I'm getting prepared for that, getting all the different kind of materials. Tom, I used your photo from San Diego as a inspiration for what sort of things to look for.
Which picture? What do you mean? Oh, you mean when I was just showing
your booth?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm waiting on the table throw. I got the table cloth with my logo. I'm going to throw over it too.
Nice.
But so I'm waiting on a few things with that. And after that, it's really just kind of me figuring out ways to kind of to sell book 1. Now that I've got that done, I got my online store, and my approach right now is to kind of not just promote on social media and all that, but email a few of my local comic book shops, doing some signings over there, apply to some more local shows in Massachusetts, so I can get myself rolling into next year, perhaps. I'm trying to get myself figured out so I can, to receive more income so I can continue production and being able to live and eat food. That's my immediate goals right now. I guess my long-term goals is to finish out some of my shorter stories. I've got like a 2-issue miniseries with Sierra Nova Comics that I need to finish issue 2 on. And I got like one other short horror story miniseries that I'd like to really get through a lot of, so I could just focus on the Wretched, because that's a long story, and that's going to be my main focus. So I just need to eventually free up more of my time, so I don't have to feel like I'm stretching myself too thin.
That's cool. But as far as food is concerned, ramen, rice, you might want to stick in those areas.
Yeah. All right, ramen. I'll think about that. I've been making the rice. I'm flavoring up different rice and making my own marinades for chicken. That's my approach right now. Rice and chicken.
All right. Well, hopefully things will work out. You can work your way up to beef every now and again. Yeah. It's a tough road, man. That's all I have to say. Tom, what are your thoughts?
I guess primarily at this point, it's the goal is just to maintain the creative momentum that's sort of kind of come back since last year. I kind of have gotten back into the swing of, writing again. And I did a bunch of conventions. I did that goddamn San Diego, which drained the life out of me. So that threw me for a little bit, but I'm back off of that. And the goal really now is to get to a point where when we do our Kickstarter campaigns, the thing's basically in the can already. And so we're already working on next year stuff to a point where when Critter comes back in January and we start the big Critterverse push all year long, the book should not only be done, it should be in our hands. Like, we're just going to print the thing so that by the time we launch, or we're kind of in the middle of the campaign, I should be able to actually come on and show pictures of the book in my hand. So that, it's like, hey, a couple weeks after this campaign is done and all the credit cards are finished and everything, we're going to be ready to just ship this book out to you. So, but then it's not just doing that one, and then it's maintaining it throughout the year, all the 4, 5, 6 campaigns that we're going to do. So that's the goal, is the momentum. It's like, yeah, you might be able to knock out one and get it done, but then you got to be like, okay, and now the next one, and now the next one, and now the next one. So since I'm writing, if I don't write, the artists are sitting around twiddling their thumbs. So I can't put, like, well, my artist didn't draw anything. I was like, well, he didn't have a script, dummy. So, I have to keep going and maintain that creative momentum myself, so that everybody else gets to, do their part in the chain. And it's all working to about 75% capacity right now. But that's pretty good, considering I just lost about a month with the San Diego trip. And but yeah, that's pretty much the immediate goal. And then, we've got a few years until our 20-year anniversary in 2030. So we have kind of bigger goals for that year that we're already kind of putting into place now, potentially. So, the further out you can kind of plan, I think the more you can maintain, because you can see the steps, like, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this, all the way down the line. I mean, you can line this up years in advance. Doesn't mean it's all going to fall into place. You have to, pivot along the way. But if you can at least set it up like, this is sort of the track we want to run, I think then everybody in your teams can kind of see it and follow it along with you, and it should all, help it work together.
All right, cool. Jay,
I'm with Tom on a lot of this stuff. My 20-year anniversary is in 2028, so I'm doing a lot of advanced planning to have stuff ready for that. It's going to be as much of an event as I can make it, right? I mean, how many people get to continue making comic books for 20 years on their own
big
time?
Snaps on your guys' anniversaries,
Right?
like that's huge,
right? Tom, me, Calderon, Brian, you guys too. You know what I mean? You guys are charting your own path, man. Way to be. Don't sell yourself short because this is only your first release. You know what I'm saying? That first step was huge. Getting to almost 20 years is mind-boggling, right? So you have to do a lot of planning, right? The plan for this year was to have 6 books released. Didn't happen, right? I'm looking at 5. But it was a learning experience for me, because I'm using a new printer, and there's new steps and shipping and prepping all of those files to get them here on time when there's a 5-week turnaround is something that needs to be added to the logistics. I've already got 1 book ready for next year. I got second book being worked on, and I'm scripting the third one. So I'm looking at 3 releases already coming out for 2027. How do you stick with it? Planning. As much as I was a fly by the seat of my pants type of guy, that will only take you so far. right? You need to have a plan in place. Doesn't have to be strict. You just need, those goalposts. You need that direction to be headed in, and be, like Tom said, be ready to pivot when something goes south on you.
And eventually you get old and tired, and you need to see the path further ahead.
You do. But you know what? You also need to look at the path that you came through on, because you get fucking tired, right? And sometimes you get lost. Not just in the weeds, but you get lost in yourself. And you need to remember where you came from, and you need to remember how much you've done to get to this point. Because that sometimes it's a boost that's stronger than that coffee in the morning, But yeah, also look, set up those goals for the future, and try to make it as comfortable as possible, because fuck, there's some days that you're not just pulling your hair out. You're saying, why did I do this? You're kicking yourself in the ass for something you didn't figure out 6 months ago, but you can't do that because you didn't know what you knew 6 months ago. You just gotta make sure you keep going and looking at that plan that you have, and make sure that, man, everybody uses GPS to drive nowadays, right? The old days, it used to be that fucking big old 12 by 14 map that was on a spiral thing, and you didn't know where you would turn block by block, right? You just knew, okay, this is where I had to go, and sometimes you had to use the force to get there, but at least you had a direction, right? And that's what you got to do with comic books. You got to have a direction.
No, I think that's super important, because like always having that compass, always having that direction, like that North Star. And I was just explaining to someone, related but unrelated a little bit ago. I was like, I don't mind building the boat. I don't mind learning how to sail. I don't mind going out to sea. But what I cannot do is just sit and wander in the ocean. I said, we cannot do that.
But sometimes you will, dude.
Yeah, sometimes and that's okay. That's
Have you
where
seen
your
the Odyssey? That's
luck
real.
favors the prepared. Hey, he knew where he was going still.
Well, he had a plan. I'm going
exactly.
here. How I get there, I don't know.
Right.
But
Right.
I
And
get
if you're
there.
going to start traveling to conventions and driving on your own, just remember highway numbers. Odd numbers go north and south. Even numbers go east and west. Okay, so if that'll help you with the guidance, just remember that.
All right, cool. But Jay, what are your goals?
What are my goals? All right, the goals. Shit.
I was thinking to myself, I thought you said something earlier about the stuff that you're putting out.
The goals are to finish off strong for the year of 2026, right? I've got a few more conventions planned. I got Plastic City Comic Con in Leominster. Is that right, Brian? Right? I thought I was calling it Leo Minster. I guess that was the wrong.
Leominster, yeah.
Leominster. Okay, Leominster.
Leominster, like a lemon.
Lemon. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They put the O in the wrong spot. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We got
That's
that.
Massachusetts for you.
We got New York Comic Con, which is the huge thing for us. So I got to make sure that I keep as many plates spinning as I can going into New York Comic Con, so we make our nut for that. Making sure that the artists have work, because like Tom said, right, not only would they be sitting on their fingers, they'd be looking for other work.
Yep.
So you don't want to lose them to another project. So make sure you got your stuff going, right? And again, that comes with planning. Doing this while you got a fucking day job, while you've got a marriage that you're trying to keep up, it's not easy. It's not easy. So planning is key. Yeah, and then like I said, I've got 3 more books for next year at least, with 3 more planned for 2027. And then a couple things for 2028, which is maybe returning our flagship team book for a nice little 2-part story.
Okay.
Cool. Very nice. You know, it's funny. You guys talk about anniversaries. And the reason I don't talk about mine is because next year will be 35 years.
Way to go, man.
Hey, hell yeah.
Way to fucking go,
It
man.
might be how old I am. Yes. You know, so I mean, I started young, but damn. Still.
Uh-huh.
But as far as goals are concerned, I mean, you know, my main project, the Oswald Chronicles, just keeping that on track. You know, I've said before, I'm working with 2 artists on the project, and they're good. I'm looking to add a 3rd, and then it's just finishing the other 2 projects that I'm working on, Magi's Grace and Dreamweavers. Just getting that stuff on track and just moving forward. And the other goal, either by the end of this year or beginning of next year, to get back into the direct market, and you know, just do it in a way where it's sustainable, right? Because it's very easy to get in and screw it up, right? But to get in and do it sustainably, that's what I'm trying to do, right? Because I don't need to go in and sell 300 books and be sleeping on 700 copies that are underneath my mattress, right? Because that's easy to happen. So it's a way to get in there and make sure the numbers are rational and good, and then just to move forward from there. Because yeah, it's very easy to screw that up, and I'm not looking to screw it up. So yeah. So those are my goals anyway. Mr. J, you're up.
All right, cool. So I mentioned this quickly in what I was saying. What did you just learn in your creative journey that you did not know 6 months ago?
Oh, cool. Kaden, you're up.
One thing I learned is you have to build an audience. Before I was able to get private funding, I did try to do a Kickstarter, and I'm not really a social media guy to begin with, so I don't really have like a big following, like even in my personal. So the Kickstarter lasted 2 days until Giancarlo Caracuzo, my artist, he was like, "You need to stop this because a failed Kickstarter looks worse than like one that you canceled. So just cancel it. We'll remake it, and we'll try to do it again," is what he told me. So I canceled that one. And I set up a new one, but then I was able to get private funding. So right now, what I would say as I learned is before you move forward, you need to start building an audience as you go.
All right, cool. Brian, what are your thoughts?
Well, the one thing that comes to mind for me is that, so like for those who may not know, I got my book translated into Spanish. I hired a translator. I got that done. And what I did was I made copies for the Spanish edition available for physical. Now, only like a small few, I'm talking 2 or 3 people, I think, got like a physical copy from the Kickstarter. And I looked on what I didn't know was just like, it's just how much cost it would be just to get this, if I were to say just pay for 30 of them. And it's just like, it's like a few $100s. It's like, what? Oh my God, just for a few. And it's just like, I had to pay a lot of out of hot pocket for this campaign, just so I can cover some of those expenses. Like if I didn't, what I would have done ahead of time is just only have it available for digital until I build up that audience, who's a Spanish speaking audience, and then make it available physically in Spanish. And if I did that, I would have been much in a much better place post campaign, financial wise. But I'm kind of looking at it in an alternative, positive way that like now I have physical editions of Spanish copies of the book. So if anybody out there who speaks Spanish and wants a copy of it, then they can have a physical copy of it, and I can still build I can still continue building an audience within that community with having book ones available in physical copies if people want them. But going forward, I'm going to just have those available in Spanish digitally for Kickstarters. And I think down the road, if I can manage to build up and invest myself more in that community, have more physical versions available.
Cool. That's funny because being from a Spanish-speaking culture myself, I think I've had one of my stories translated and distributed in Chile, but I've yet to really seek out hardcore how to get it done in South America or even in Spain for that matter. So, good on you for doing it because it's tough. It's tough because I know a couple guys, they got their stuff in Portuguese. They got it for the Brazilian market because Brazil has a big market for comics and not just DC and Marvel. Yeah. And then I think they've also gotten Sweden and I think maybe Germany.
Okay.
So, so it's tough, but it's worthwhile because it's revenue that can come your way, especially they're working with publishers. So they're getting a fee every single time they send over a book. So, I mean, it's a good little bump that you can get from that if you can get into those markets.
Yeah, I think something else that what I'm going to end up doing soon is the concept artist for my stories is Colombian, and I'm going to be shipping him a bunch of different copies over to him to see if he wants to sell any of those copies on his end to anybody in his community. So, yeah, I have a long way to go, but I think it is worth it. It's something for the long run, and I like investing in that community.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'll be honest with you. We get complacent sometimes, or at least I do. You know what I mean? We forget those other communities that we can be involved in and doing those other things. So I get it.
Yeah. Thank you, Ralph. That's awesome, Ralph.
Yeah. Jake, what are your thoughts?
I do want to ask though, Brian, what did inspire the translation?
My friend in Colombia.
Okay.
I wanted him to be able to read it, and then I thought to myself, like, why not open this up to everybody else? I know there's a lot of people in my community who just speak Spanish, so like, why not just open it up for everybody? But the initial inspiration just is from my friend in Colombia. I wanted him to read it, be able to read it.
No, man, that's phenomenal because that's why I asked what inspired it, was because I could tell it was coming from some sort of need that you found, like there was some sort of like deep inspiration from it. And I have never even thought of translating anything on my end. So like it was also, I just wanted to ask just out of plain curiosity. But that's like phenomenal, dude. That's awesome. No,
I think
what's that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think like, I always, if you can manage the expense, I figure why not? I would say like, hold off on doing what I did and going out of the gate with physical copies, because if you haven't invested in that community and that audience for a while, it's like you're not going to see that return. But that's okay. I mean, you can, if you can survive it, that's all well and good. But I would advise, having it at least available digitally and just, and invest over time in that community. And then, once you're ready, get those physical editions out and, you'll be able to get those sold.
That's actually, you actually touch on one of the biggest things that I've learned. You say 6 months, I'd say in this past year is, the time and attention that is required for audience building. And what really like drove it home for me, to the point where I even, I reached out to like social media managers. They got all my stuff. Well, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I just don't listen. But like they got most of my stuff squared away that I did listen to them, for. And I mean, granted, everything they've told me to do has worked, lo and behold, right? That's their job. So thankfully it does. But it is I think it was Jay that said just spinning the plates. Perfect analogy for, just juggling multiple things at once. And I can't remember who he was talking to, but I was just driving, listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson. And, I think we can all relate of just wanting to like hunker in the dungeon, getting our, stuff done, writing, drawing, just getting our like stuff, put together, put out and everything. But then he just said, like, he kind of touched on the subject, and he said if it was up to him, he'd be in the lab. He doesn't want to be doing like the interviews. He doesn't want to be in front of the camera. But he said at the end of the day, the only way to make people care about science is to get in front of people and tell them about science. And so I was like, that's kind of like just a fundamental truth. Like, who's going to know about this story? Who's going to know about these characters, this universe? Who is going to know if I don't tell them? So when the book was just finished, I was like, all right, cool. Now I start showing people. Now I start telling people. And, lo and behold, they have to see it to believe it. And, that's when the numbers started shooting up. That's when the regulars started coming back around, the different platforms. And it took me, I would probably say, about 7 months to get there, about 8 months to get there. And granted, I don't have like a huge following or anything like that. But it really showed me that unless you just simply pay for advertising or marketing, or just the algorithm decides to favor you, it is going to be another grind just like anything else. So I would tell people to expect like a year until they start to see some like pickup or start to see like some momentum. And even when you think down to like the weeds and the grit, the nitty gritty of it, how many people are just like every single day uploading pictures, uploading videos, uploading music, so it's like I think the main difference between, us and, someone who just had a good idea once is that we're willing to kind of slog through, the mud, and we're willing to go through all that. And that's, the difference is, I don't want to say like cream rises to the top, but, when you're willing to do what other people aren't, it shows. So like I could go on a whole rant and everything that I've learned like in the past 6 months, but I think that is the biggest one is figuring out like the social media aspect and the community building aspect. And it's new age marketing, so like it's just a whole other world that I wish I didn't have to deal with. But it's a necessary evil.
It's part of it.
Yeah, it just is. And you find a lot of cool people along the way, at the same time. So, I didn't have a community 6 months ago, and, now I do got a little pocket. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's all about where you want to focus your time. I'm going to try to focus, eventually, I think it'd be another thing that's important is just, as you say, meet those, people, community in person. So like, applying to shows and selling them, and meeting that all those people who are going there for comics or for whatever. I think that's there are many ways to go about it in terms of like building a community of and audiences and all that. So yeah, it's all about it. You have to invest in it though. That's at the end of the day.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What was the question? We talked a lot. We touched on a few stuff.
What have you learned and something?
Oh, right. What have you learned in the last 6 months?
Because I write shit down now. Hold on. Let me look through my notes here, kid.
Oh, I learned that I like fulfillment. At least my first go around, I enjoyed.
Oh my god, yeah, that's going to be probably about 3 or 4 times, and then you'll be done with that.
I was gonna say no. Yeah, I'm aware.
You will always love it when your books arrive and you get to look at them and you're like, yeah, I got books, man. And then you're like, I have to ship out 100 packages right now.
Yeah, if I ever get to your level or someone else's level where it's like hundreds of copies, and I do that, often, then I might hate it. I had I shipped I think like around just about 50, so it's not even quite there yet, but I like getting them and packing them up and shipping them off. I don't know. It was kind of fun. But yeah, I'm aware. I've been told how much people hate that.
My best advice is, if you can, do it in front of your TV. And,
yes.
Just put on something you like that you've seen 50 times before, and just play it again.
That's what I did. Not 50 times, but I did put on something in the background to kind of keep my
white noise stuff. Yeah.
Yep. I'm sorry, Jay. Where were we?
Yeah.
All right. What did you just learn in your creative journey that you did not know 6 months ago?
Oh, okay. So Jake, did you answer that?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, he went on. There was a whole different discussion.
No.
going on.
I can, dude. I am a ranter. You can tell me to shut the hell up at any time. I will rant and ramble.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, listen, I mean, it's good for the discourse. You know, Mr. Hutchison, what are your thoughts?
I feel like I've seen it all, to be perfectly honest. And that's not even like a joke. Like, I really feel like I've seen it all at this point. So the question still qualifies, but I think it's a different angle. It's more like, with all that you know, what are you doing with that knowledge to make things better? Like, what piece of this thing that exists are you sort of attacking to use and whatever? And the answer is nothing. Again, it's not really a joke. The answer is nothing. I'm fully aware that the next step for me is kind of like what we just talked with Brian, like with fulfillment and stuff. The next step is sort of like creating an actual physical presence and team around me again, because I haven't had that for like 8 years. And prior to that, we were all in Diamond and Aspen, and we were doing all that stuff ourselves, but I had people that were helping me do things so that I could focus on the creative side. But now with Kickstarters, it's a different world, and it takes a lot of time just to build a Kickstarter and run it and fulfill it and do it again and then do it again and do it again. So, in my brain, it's like every time I'm packaging a book, that's time I'm not writing. So it's like the real true next step is I have to find people that I think can, at minimum, come in and just handle shipping and take it off my plate. Even if I'm helping them, it would move faster, But then the next true step is diving into the thing that I don't think any of us like at all, which is social media. And actually, again, like it was mentioned here, hire the people that know what the hell they're doing and let them do what they do, or at least give you the advice that they give you to do the things that each platform sort of requires for you to succeed within them, because Facebook is not TikTok, is not Instagram, is not X. None of it is the same. Right. I listen to Gary V a lot, Gary Vaynerchuk, because he's a lunatic, and I like him, but he's a lunatic. And one of the last videos he talked about, somebody was asking like, okay, so I have these three things. I like sports and something else and something else. And he was asking Gary, so like, do I like make an account for each of those, or like, do I combine them, or do what? And Gary was like, all of those things. You make each one individually, and you make the one that's combined. And then he goes and he says, I have 500 different accounts across all of social media that are each posting up to 100 different posts a day across all 500 of those various things, from TikTok to whatever. And he was naming, he's like, I've got Gary V cards, and I've got Gary V sports, and I've got Gary V Pokemon, and I've got Gary. I'm just like, yeah, but you have a building full of people doing that as well. It's not that you're doing it, Gary. You're creating the content by doing your interviews and stuff, and they're taking it and chopping it and sending it out. So that's sort of the step. It's sort of like, okay, I need that team of people that understands how to take like these videos even that we do and break them down and take the clips and load them where they're going to be most successful. And I have no concept of that, and I don't want to know what that is. That's information I don't want. I have too much else going on up here. I don't want to know, like, I have to make something specific for Instagram today. No, you do it, and you tell me what you need me to do, and it'll all be fine. It'll work out fine. So those are sort of like those next two. I know those are my next two doors to knock on. So we'll see how fast I decide to kick the doors open.
Tom, I felt that to my core. I was like, how do I buy some of my time back?
Yeah, 100%, 100%, man. And the longer you get into this, I think the more you'll see it. I mean, again, I've been doing this for 16 years now. So when we did this for our first like 8 years, we did 4 years on our own. It was me, it was my wife. We had a sort of a part-time guy helping. We had locals in the Chicago area that would come help us at cons and stuff. So we had like a little pseudo team going. And then when we went to Aspen, I had the Aspen team behind me and all their guys doing stuff. And then we broke off Aspen. It's me. It's just me. And you know, I could feel that. You know, there was for a period of time like an exhilaration of like, fuck yeah, it's me. Let's go. And then it quickly was like, no. This is way too much. I was still doing like 15 to 20 shows. I was bouncing from Michigan to Arizona, like for winter and the summer. It was just like, there was way too much going on. And so I've sort of slowed it all down a bit. You know, I only do cons now primarily if I'm invited. You know, I do a lot of live sales stuff on Facebook, so I don't have to be at a con. I can just sell it online. You know, that kind of stuff. So, but I do know that to take the next steps, you know, every publisher, I hear people talk about it all the time. I got to pitch to a publisher. Why? Well, the publisher is going to have a team, right? Generally speaking, even if you're going with guys like Vault or Ignition or whoever, the lower guys, they're going to have teams of people that are doing things. Now, are they going to really focus on you? Who the hell knows? But the reality is that all those places have their own internal influencers or whatever you want to call them. And they're taking that job seriously so that you as a creator can take that job seriously. And you'll interact. They'll be like, hey, we need you to do something for 2 minutes. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Did my dumb TikTok dance. Yay. And then they'll go do what they need to do with it. And you can get back to your creative side. So that's next for us.
So we can expect you to see, like, we can expect to see you doing TikTok dances. That's what's next for you.
I mean, listen, if it's going to sell a book, you got to contemplate the value of it.
There you go.
Not wrong.
What have I learned in the last 6 months? That no matter how long I've been in this game, and I've been in this game a long time, that there's always something new to learn.
Yeah.
There's always something new to apply, right? And that's basically it.
Okay.
I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly applying.
Well, that's the question, Calderon. What have you learned? If there's so much to learn, what have you learned?
Just that. I've learned
that's the biggest skirt of a question in the history of questions.
All right. So basically, here I'll answer it. I'll answer it. Here we go. So I went through a process. I'm putting out a trade paperback. All right, I'm doing 2 comics now, but I'm putting out a trade paperback for the next, for my next campaign. I thought everything was fine with these 3 books. I could just slap them in there, no problem. I go through it. I'm reading it. I'm looking at stuff, and primarily it's very minor. They're like 1 or 2 little mistakes. I'm like, oh, those are easy to fix. And then I'm sitting there going, I don't like any of these tales, because I do tales differently now, right? Because I do my own lettering. I don't like any of these tales. So I have to go through 100 pages and change all the fucking tales. You know?
Been there. Yeah.
So you learned you're a terrible letterer. That's what you're telling me.
Well, when I lettered it 10 years ago.
Right. Okay.
Like 10 years, my prior self 10 years ago, yeah. You know, okay. But now, you know, different story. So I'm fixing it. Well, I fixed them already. So I've learned that, you know, the process never ends. You understand? Yeah, you know, they say art is never finished, it's abandoned, right? That's the term that I learned in film school. They'll tell you. So it's because you can work on something forever and forever. Trying to make it perfect is never going to be perfect, right? So that's the thing. I go through this all the time. I'll pull out an old story from whatever, and I'll start looking at it, and I'll do a re-edit just because I'm there, right? I just start monkeying with it, and I'll do that. And there does come a point you let it go, right? Like there was one bridge that was too far for this story that I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, although I want to do it. But I say, okay, on the next pass in 2 or 3 years, when I come back to it, I'll do it then. But but the thing is, if I don't tell you what it is, you're never gonna know. I can show you the work, you're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But I know what I'm talking about. It's one of those things, So it's like that. So yeah. So that's what I learned.
Okay.
So you learned that you're better than you were 10 years ago.
There it is.
Okay.
There it happened.
Nothing wrong with a humble brag.
Yeah. Ain't no wrong with it.
No, that's good. I tell people a lot, like once you're in this for a period of time, you're going to look back on what you did at the beginning and you're going to be like, whoa, like you're going to want to George Lucas it and no, just let it be what it is. And you can watch it, because for me, it's like, it's kind of cool where when somebody comes into the booth and they're like, oh, like, where do I start on this stuff? I'm like, don't start at the beginning. Don't start there. Like, look at the new stuff. The new stuff is better. Like Calderon says, right? It's like, look at the new stuff. It's better. But when they start at the beginning, they get to watch the progression of everybody involved, the writing, the art, like the story. And I think that there's probably, unbeknownst to us, there's probably quite a bit of like appreciation for watching it get better and better and better for those that stick with it, and come in for volume 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's a really cool value element of watching new creators come in and build things out of nothing.
And as far as like progression goes, I'm going to tell you right now, as someone who's been doing it a long time, and I started very, very young, and I worked with some very young artists. When you're young, you're going to see progression very quickly. You're going to see that you're going to grow very fast. You're going to get better very quickly, especially if you're serious about it, you stick to it, and you're putting in the work. But there's going to come a point you're going to plateau. That does not mean you don't get better. It just means that you get better fractionally, very small amounts. Yeah. It's not even 1% a year. It's like half or 0.25% a year, and it'll accumulate over the years. So that's the one thing you do have to be. You have to be aware of that a little bit. It's just like you're getting better, but it might not be huge. You may never see a huge leap ever again. You might, case in point, artist Dan Panosian. Look at his artwork in the 90s and look at it now.
Yeah,
right?
You have to make a conscious decision to change what you're doing in order to get that next, like a big pop. You have to really be like, I'm doing it differently. Here we go. And then, but otherwise, yes, Calderon's right.
Yeah.
Mr. Rosario.
Yeah.
I think there. Oh, sorry.
No, good.
No, I was gonna say I think there's actually also a important factor of like letting the piece be a timepiece. And Jay, I think you said it earlier. Just see where you've come from, like how far you've come. And we kind of live in the age of like these remasters, these remakes and everything. And I personally don't think everything needs a fresh coat of paint. But when you get into kind of the philosophy of like artist integrity, I do think there's an element of letting the art like sit where it needs to. You put your all into it there. All right, then you move on. And, as we know, it's like, what are you always working on next? Not what you've already done, type thing. At least that's how I think. But I do think there is, I've appreciated more. I was a musician before this, still self-proclaimed. But, when I look back on my past music, like, I'm just like, oh my God, like those guitars need to be like this. Those vocals need, I need to redo, blah, blah, blah. But then at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, what I do is a lot better now than what I used to do. And, is there a need to like, maybe there is a need to revamp it up, redo it. But at that point, it actually becomes its own thing. Like, it's not just like a 2.0 version. It ends up becoming like something completely different. So I do think there's like the other side of the coin that, like, when we talk about that, it also makes me think of, everything that kind of accumulated and came together to make, what that was at that point.
Sure.
Yeah, Jake, sometimes you got to think about what they're doing in other medias, right? And like with movies, you got your Criterion collection, you got your director's cut, you got your box set,
Right.
you've got your remastered 4K edition, you got your Blu-ray scrub for this, you got your 20th anniversary X, Y, and Z, right? There is, of course, the concept of preserving the art in the time capsule, right? But there's also, I got to keep the lights on, and I got people that depend on me
100%.
to make money. So you got to make sure that you got something in that war chest, right, to pay them for the work. So,
I'll always pay for a remaster of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, every time.
So both sides of the coin are applicable, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did I learn? I learned something right now, guys. Right now, on this very show with all of you. I learned that both Tom and I listen to Gary Vee. That's what I learned. And that's why we are so similar in some of our goals and some of our sets, right? Because this was going to be my original statement, and I know Tom knows where this is coming from. But we're not in high school anymore. So stop worrying about what other people think about you. Yeah. Do that TikTok video with the dance. I fucking did it. When there was fucking downtime at a convention I was doing in Jersey, I shook my ass, baby. I didn't twerk, right? But I got out there. I did a little bit. I'm practicing that fucking Backstreet Boys viral trend right now so I can be ready for New York Comic Con. And you think I'm not, make sure you follow me on fucking social so that way you can see me fucking bust it out at the Javits Center, okay? Because it's coming. It's coming.
I'm expecting it.
Yeah, we're getting that ready, baby.
I gotta pop up my Instagram at some point, and I'll be looking for it.
You're gonna hear me sing. You're all I ever wanted. Right? It's in there. It's in there. We're fucking moving that shit. Trying to get the rest of the team to do that. That's the hard part.
It's always hard getting someone else to shake their ass.
Yeah, but
you can pay people for that though.
No. Listen, I got no problem. See, you know what? The root of it is, don't be afraid to poke fun at yourself. Right? We're making comic books to entertain people. We're not making comic books to cure cancer.
Speak for yourself, sir.
You're curing cancer. Yes.
Brain cancer, sir.
Okay, you've applied the Pythagorean theorem in the last issue. I know.
There you go.
But we're the first objective here is entertainment. So don't be afraid to let your hair down a little bit. Right? You can hear this a bunch of times. You can hear this a ton of times. But until you really apply something like that, you don't know what it means, right? And it's just don't be so precious with the way you think others think of you. Right? You're already putting your heart out there by making a book that is going to be judged and ripped apart and examined on every freaking corner of the page. So if you're okay with somebody doing that with something you worked on, then be okay with somebody laughing at you for doing a fucking TikTok dance. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I don't have the team, right? I do this stuff in scale. And every day I'm posting 2 to 3 videos on Instagram, Substack, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, what the fuck else? Twitter. And it shows. It's game.
That's only 7 accounts. You need 493 more.
Well, you know what? I put it up on the YouTube Shorts, but some of them had the music that wasn't cleared on YouTube, so it was getting the copyright strikes. So I gotta readjust some of those. But we're out here, and you got to try to get attention on your book by hook or by crook. Do it any way you can. Right? And understand that just because you show it one time doesn't mean 10 people are going to start to flock to your book. You'd be lucky if you show it 100 times and you get one person to check out your book. So set your expectations lower with what you think that conversion rate is going to be. For those of you who've done Kickstarter before, the conversion rate on people who signed up for the pre-launch page. You're lucky if you get past 30, right? If you get past 50, ooh, that is like, yeah, you did a great job. I don't think anyone has hit 100% conversion rate on their pre-launch page or people following their stuff.
You're talking about signing up before it launches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Signing up before and during.
Yeah.
If when you're done, if you are in the 30% range, you have done very, very well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look it up. Look at your dashboard, right? And
No,
you'll see project followers, right? And it breaks down project followers also to pre-launch and while the campaign's going on.
I'll have to, I will have to double check. Maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn I think I had like an 80-something percentage for pre-launch, and for post-launch I had like 3%.
Oh, okay.
I was trying real hard for those post-launch followers.
Yeah.
They were not biting. They were.
Yeah,
I had a good amount. It was so hard to get them to bite.
But don't get so lost.
I mean, most of those people were people that I knew. I think. It's
Okay.
just, which is I'm very thankful for. But
Good. Yeah. Just don't get so lost in the whole Monday morning quarterback of it all, right? You can go down the rabbit hole of trying to evaluate analytics, and you forget about the creative side that you're supposed to be working on as well.
I was going to also mention what you were saying too before is there's not just you're not just also selling. You don't have to just be selling the book. You could just be selling yourself as a person, and that gets people to buy into what you're doing, and
right.
They may not be the biggest fans of your work, but they like you and they like buying from you, and they like having experiencing what you have to offer. So yeah.
Yes.
Go make those TikToks and take those
There's only one you, right? Nobody else can sell you but yourself.
Yeah.
So you don't got to worry about that and getting copied by anybody else. So lean into that if you have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I have to log it. Yeah.
So Jay, you're good? You got it?
Yeah, we're good, baby.
That was just horrible. It was wretched. But no, we're talking about Brian's book. Brian, please walk us through this. Brian, are you still there? Hello?
You're muted, Brian.
Oh, yeah, he's muted.
Oh, you're muted, yeah.
All right, we should be good.
All right. So walk us through that. Walk us through your book.
My main series is The Wretched here. It's a dark drama, horror, sci-fi story that's about these experiments of a mad scientist who are creatures made of animal, human, and machine called amalgams who are sent out to abduct humans in a diseased and decaying region called Romeheim. And the story is about them kind of learning to embrace these new different vulnerabilities and anxieties that are swelling up within themselves. And the story is about their journeys to become something that they hate, which is essentially being human. And so I have The Wretched #2 up on pre-launch here. And The Wretched #2 takes off from my 70-page book 1. Takes place in the aftermath of the events of what happens at the end, where it leaves the main character essentially kind of reset to zero or close to zero into who he is, and he's trying to figure out who he wants to be and what he wants to be. And it's a very it's among kind of like a darker kind of like aesthetic or vibe to it, because he's also doesn't know how to learn how to do different things that are relate to humanity and vulnerability and stuff. So he's trying to figure himself out, and so that's kind of where issue #2 kind of takes off. My pre-launch page is barren right now because I just put it up about a week or so ago. But there is a link tree in there. So if you ever want to go into the link tree, you'll not only get to the my online store where you can purchase book 1, you can also find links to where you can read book 1 for free on Global Comics. And some of my social medias that are on there too. I'm hoping to get this launched next year. We did start production. So
Nice.
we're entering into the second phase of pencils right now, where we've gone over the roughs and whatnot. And there's some gnarly imagery in this second issue here, and I'm so excited to see it, see what it looks like.
Cool.
So
You're
yeah,
looking at like first quarter, second quarter of next year.
roughly, yeah. I think a second quarter. I'm hoping. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of playing it by ear, but if you follow me on my socials and all that, that are, within that page there, I'll keep everyone up to date to see what's going on.
And obviously, the second issue. How many issues in the first arc?
First arc will be 5 of them.
5 issues. Okay, cool.
Yep. 5
Right.
issues. This one's going to be 36 pages. The second
Mhm.
issue as well, as opposed to the 76-page book that I made previously.
Gotcha. Right. So you can
Yep.
put it out a little quicker.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, man. Looking forward to it. Looks good. Everybody, sign up. All right. All right. Here we go. Kaden.
Yeah.
Do you want me to play this video?
Oh yeah, if you don't mind.
Now, my only question is this: is it under 5 minutes?
It's 45 seconds.
Awesome. See, you're the best. All right, cool. Short and sweet.
So this. Or sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go for yours.
Yeah, so this is Adam Delta Psi. It is the first comic that I have ever started working on. I started working on it about 5 years ago, kind of just for fun. I worked around it, my day job, doing this. And I never really expected anything to really come from it until earlier this year. I emailed an artist on ArtStation, and he has a lot of experience in the industry. And I didn't really expect him to respond to me, but he did, and he was very positive about it. So it kind of turned into something I do for fun to, oh shit, this could actually be potentially real. And the story itself, it's about Adam, a synthetic human created in a government laboratory to be the future of human power. Physically, he's complete and extraordinarily powerful, but emotionally, he's unfinished. And that's really what drives the story. I didn't want the series to be about, one incredibly powerful superhero and his big arch nemesis. I wanted Adam's central antagonist to be his own morality. So if you create someone with godlike power, how do you teach them the difference between right and wrong in a world that literally bends to his will? And the solution I came up with that was grief. So I planned it out as 7 books, 7 comic issues per book. And each book is following Adam through a different stage of grief, beginning with shock and ending eventually with acceptance. So underneath all of the superhero and science fiction elements, it's really a story about just someone learning what justice truly means. And there's something kind of interesting about it is I created a power system based on the von Neumann-Wigner interpretation of quantum mechanics. So it's consciousness shapes reality. And essentially, there was an experiment that went wrong, and it kind of disrupted the quantum field, and people with higher observer density can not only collapse reality down into what we experience, but they can alter it, which is where superpowers come from. And then Adam himself has the highest observer density ever recorded, which is why he is so powerful.
All right, cool. Very nice.
Concept.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So obviously, there's the first issue. How many issues do you see in the first arc?
So it'd be 7 issues per book. I wrote this. So I've been working on this for years. I wrote this probably about 5 years ago. I'm currently on writing the 3rd book and trying to produce this first issue. But it would be, I'm planning just creatively 7 issues per
Arc.
book. Yeah,
Okay.
per arc. Yeah.
All right, cool. Now so obviously, are you a science major?
No, it's just something I thought was interesting, and it wasn't the original backstory for superpowers. I kind of originally was just having like a generic nuclear one, nuclear bombs put something in the atmosphere, created superpowers.
Right.
And just one day I just started going down a rabbit hole reading about quantum mechanics, and I was like, this would be really cool in my story. So I kind of rewrote it with that in the background.
All right, cool. And when are you looking to launch?
The campaign itself, I'm hoping to launch sometime towards the beginning of October. It's going to be looking more for getting funding for lettering the comic. We are already producing the first issue, just the interior artwork.
Okay, cool. What else? Do you have a sign up page that you're gonna put up eventually?
Yeah. So there's like the follow the Kickstarter kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do have that. I've been sharing that to social media and that kind of thing. But I do have that. I can share that with you as well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we can put it up in the chat. Actually, I think I did put that in the show notes. Yeah. So,
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, the book is looking good. I mean, you obviously hooked up with an artist who knows what they're doing, which is always a plus. And you said you found him on ArtStation?
I did. I found him on ArtStation. It's I've only ever emailed him. I hope he's Italian. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but it's Giancarlo Caracuzzo. He worked on a lot of stuff before. He's had like 20 years of experience, so I kind of see him as both my artist and my mentor. I do ask him a lot of stuff and have him help me out.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Listen, man, it's looking good. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It looks nice.
Thank you.
All right, cool. And you said October. You're looking to launch.
Looking to launch this Kickstarter in October. Yes.
All right, cool. Nice. When it launches, we'll have to bring you back, and then and that's.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Obviously, that's.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Jake. What are we looking at here, sir?
We are looking at a science fiction rock band. I had there's a little bit of backstory here. One of my good buddies, we were in a band together. Just more of a music project a couple years ago. And when I just left my last job last year, him and I were catching up, and he goes, "Hey, dude, have you seen K-pop Demon Hunters?" And I was like, "No, but people have been pressuring me to watch that more than I was pressured in school to do drugs. Like, is it really that good? Do I need to watch it? And he was like, "Yeah, man, you need to check it out. And so, I ended up watching it. It was a good movie. And I was like, why did you want me to watch it so bad? He goes, "What if we did the same thing?" And I was like, "What do you mean the same thing?" He was like Metalocalypse, the Gorillas, like a virtual band, and like this and that, and blah. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we started writing the music for the project, and unfortunately he had to step down from the project because he had some serious health conditions, but that it just is what it is. He's still credited as one of the creators on it, because without him this wouldn't have been a thing. But then when I started writing out the characters, the story, the arc, and everything, and really trying to stick to that principle of like write what you know, and these 4 characters came from early inspirations from Ninja Turtles. I love The Last Airbender. Avatar is one of the greatest shows of all time, and so I was finding a lot of like that found family trope coming in. I was finding a lot of applying different parts of my background to each of these characters, and so then I end up finding they're called Echelon. Met them from a mutual friend, and we started talking. went over the story. They helped me write the script out and everything. And so now we have a comic and a soundtrack. So the thing with like the whole campaign is to just really like pay for the fulfillment, the last stages of production, get all the physical stuff and everything. That would be really cool. And hopefully that springboards to, the second issue. Because if it gets funded, we'll just go right to the second one. It's already like written out. It's already finished and everything. It's just a matter of, as we all know, capital, Yep. But it's basically K-pop Demon Hunters meets Linkin Park, and it takes place in a cyberpunk, type city, and just all my love of science fiction, of heavy music, like if the music industry, there's a lot of banter in there. If one of the characters, he comes from a deep crime family. The other one is trying to reveal conspiracies. Sarah, this first issue revolves more around her. She takes my background in corporate. I was a very high level corporate for my last job, ended up leaving it. And it's really kind of my life story reflects her issue in this, and that, she makes that crossroad decisions of, I've worked so much and so hard. I've, achieved all my goals, everything I got. But at the end of the day, like, I love this, And so what does that mean for your life when you've worked so hard for something, you've achieved, you got to that level, but then you realize that like it's not anything at all that you wanted. And, now you have to start from square one again to, follow like your passions and follow your love and everything. So it's been a very long time coming. If Dan was here, he would laugh because he at the time didn't know I was neurotic, and he was just kind of spitballing ideas. But I said, yeah, no, we're doing this. And so now it's here. It launches next month. So it's long days, early mornings, late nights. Too familiar with the R foundations, rice and ramen, and it just. But I wouldn't change anything.
All right, cool. Now, how many issues is this? Like a one shot? Is it like a long?
No, I wrote this out for 12 issues.
12 issues. Okay. All right. Cool. Nice. And I mean, is like the first arc, the first 4 issues? Are you breaking it up like that, or is it just one big story?
No, there are multiple arcs. The first arc is 4. The second arc is 3, and then, or is it 4, 8, 4, 4, and 4? I think it's 4. One of them's an odd number, but that was one of those. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, type things. We talked a lot about long planning. I was like, that's that long stage where when we get a little bit closer. But with his name's Ethan Murphy, the one who adapted the story to the comic. When we had our initial meetings, he was like, yeah, this probably is like a 10 to 12 like issue like story, like this whole epic arc, however you want to, I don't know the verbiage. But yeah, we anticipate it being a long-term series. I'm assuming that's considered long-term. You guys tell me, is 10 issues long-term?
It's a good size.
Yeah.
It's a good size. Yeah.
It's what they would call back in the day a maxi series.
Right.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know Spider-Man's at like 1,000 something. So, not trying to compare it to that, but I was just like, I don't know what constitutes, big, medium, small, and when it comes to like indie.
Yeah. Sounds good. Looking forward to it. So you said you're releasing it early next month, towards the middle,
September 9th.
September 9th. All right. So there you go. Everybody sign up. You got 51 followers, so that's a good number. Gotta try to get you up to 100.
Yeah. That's been the goal. Yeah, social media is just a bitch.
Yes, it is. All right.
But it's always a couple more, every week. So, that's good.
Good looking book. Nice. All right. Now we got this guy. Here we go. Nice cover.
Oh, you mean this guy? Yeah. All right, Shield of the Interceptor. That's my long-running title, or excuse me, that's my flagship character over there. If you guys know about the sword of Excalibur. What if there was a shield that went with it, and it was lost in the ages? And the person who found it ends up being chased by everybody else who ever looked for it. So that's the opening hook, right? That's the 30-second pitch. But this is Shield of the Interceptor number 7. The cover there is illustrated by Narcelio Souza. And it's colored by Elena Di Napoli. The variant cover there is done by Raphael Sam. I love the chibi stuff. So we got 2 there, and then if you scroll down, we got the reward for anybody who was a previous backer. I don't have frequent flyer miles. I don't have that little card that says you get your 7th coffee for free if you come here. But I've got a ton of people that have backed us in the past. So all you got to do is come back, and you get a very nice holofoil card that's shiny like this for free, added to no extra charge to reward for a physical backer. And if you're not a returning backer and you want the card, you can get it for $5. We're going to be launching mid-September. I want to fulfill these last 2 campaigns before I launch the next book, and that's it. It's a superhero action fantasy adventure. I think the cover looks fucking sexy as hell, man. I love it.
It's a good looking cover. I gotta be honest, I like this chibi.
Yeah. Oh, you mean this? You like this one here? This is the one you like?
There you go. Yep, that's the one I like.
That's the one you like. Yeah.
It's
great. I love it. If only you could zoom in on it. It has a pixelated pattern to it, which almost feels like it's the old dot matrix coloring of the 80s. I don't know if it can be seen here.
Oh, I can see.
Oh yeah, I see
Oh.
it.
Yeah. So that's that. Here's the variant, the bow,
Mhm.
and here's the regular cover.
Very
cool.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, and then let me see. When on the back of the cover, I know you don't like it, Calderon, but on the back cover, it is the same image, just without the cover dress on it, so you can display it any way you want.
All right. Very nice. All right, cool. And you said when are you looking at launch?
The middle of September.
Middle of September. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Looking forward to it as well. Real quick, I'll pop up my campaign that's currently running. I think I got another 14 days on this bad boy. So this is the Oswald Chronicles, A Country Night in New York City, issues 1 through 4. This particular story is about a young lady. Her name is Anna, and she's from a particular race called Calcians. And her town is being invaded, and she's fighting all kinds of crazy monsters and alien entities. And she is going to New York to raise an army that's going to come back and help her fight these invaders. So, and that's pretty much it. This is some of the artwork by Jade Gonzalez. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. And if you're new to this, I fulfill pretty quick. So if you're back and when it's done within 3 to 4 weeks, I fulfill, and then I launch the next campaign. So
Nice.
there you go. Mr. Tom, you got a question?
No.
Before we get to that, I need to offer a correction from earlier. I said 80%. I just had to check real quick for my conversion rate. My conversion rate for pre-launch is 33%.
There you go. Yeah.
My post-launch conversion rate is 6%.
All right.
It's a missed opportunity to just say 100. Sorry, guys, I was wrong. It was actually all of them.
It was actually
You're right there with us. You're right there with us, Brian. That's the average, brother.
I'm happy.
All right. So, Tom, what was your question?
I don't know. What was yours?
That was his question.
That was my question. Exactly. What's your question?
What question are you going to ask, Calderon?
I don't know. What question were you going to ask?
What's your password? Password?
That's my question.
There you
No.
go.
What's your password? Password.
Password. There you go.
Password?
Password. All right, I got a question. What do you desire in indie comics aside from fame, success, and money?
Aside from, or which one of those?
No, aside from those three things, right? Because not everybody pursues this thing for the same reason. So I'm just curious. Like, what are you looking for aside from those things?
But what if those are the things? What if those are the only things?
You gotta find
Women.
something
Women.
else.
Women.
There you go.
Women.
That's it.
Throw
That's
it
it.
at me. Throw it at me, baby.
Ryan, you're in the hot seat, sir.
Me. So I completing the next story. That's it. Like finishing a full story is that's my goal. That's my.
There you go. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's definitely fair. Jake, what are your thoughts?
My goal in this was to find it really was in search of a like new nerddom community. I come from a gamer's background. I come from a music background. But then when I had to leave the live, aspect of music, I was like, where else, are some of my people at? And, when this whole comic thing got started, I was like, oh, there's obviously a lot of overlap, like nerds are nerds. Right. And when I was, cause I also do, video game development. And, when I was going through a writing portion, I was mentored by Quinn Johnson, and he wrote one of the Ninja Turtles back in the day. And so we got started talking about that stuff. And I was on, a little podcast thing with him. And then he was like, he kind of gave me the realistic, his background, how all that stuff got started. And then he was like, of course, this is the current project. And, I was like, yep, fuck it, I'll buy your book, and I get it in the mail, and I'm just kind of looking at it, and I was like, damn, this is kind of cool. I was like, this is really, and I was like, people just do this? And, it really just snowballed from there. And then the more I get involved, like, again, just the more like cool people I'm meeting, the more people like that are just so warm and welcoming, and some principles that, I just hear in everything I get involved in, that's becoming one of my tenets is that, like, I don't like working with people who say no, and like, if you're not crazy, if you're not a little bit unstable, and, I'm just like, I saw a comic that was called Shaolin Cowboy, and I was like, that's literally crazy. I was like, that's awesome. And if I go to someone's like, hey, I got an idea for, a project, let's do a Shaolin Cowboy, and they say no, I don't want to work with you. On to the next one. Because we're doing, crazy stuff, big stuff, whatever. And it really kind of makes it like, those are the type of people I do want to be around. Like, I do want to be surrounded by, and, on just some multiple levels, like that's just who I notice I relate to. And going into like, yeah, just the comic like industry, like I was like, there really is an interesting and unique community here, full of, authenticity, generosity, like everything. Obviously there's going to be bad ones that slip through the cracks wherever you go, but I was like, at large, I was like, I can honestly see myself in this space. Like, I was like, I honestly can. So riding it until the wheels fall off.
Very nice. All right, cool. Kaden, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so goals, I would say actually my main goal is just to tell my story. As someone that kind of started doing this just for fun and getting an artist and securing funding, and it's starting to feel more and more real. I think getting people to read it, to have it finished, having people read it and like it is actually a better reward than like money and fame really could be. It's just something I did for fun. Other people actually enjoy.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Very nice. Tom, what are your thoughts?
So back in the day, there was always like the weird dream of like being in line for like an artist, right? Like Adam Hughes or somebody. And anybody who's done this before, it might be different now. I haven't done this in a long time. Back in the day, you'd just get in line and that would be the artist. And you'd get there and you'd be like, I want this character and here's my money and I'll be back tomorrow for it or whatever. So I always had this thought of like being in line for like Adam Hughes or some big name, and whoever's in front of me would get to the line, and the artist would be like, okay, so what can I draw for you? And that person in front of me, not knowing that I'm behind them, would say critter.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So while that hasn't exactly happened in that capacity, it has happened where people are literally taking critter sketch covers to name artists and getting critter sketches done. Like that's happening. So sort of in a tangential way, that sort of dream has come true, which still blows my mind. So now the new one, which it's technically it's already happened, but I want more of it now because it's really the best part is I want, how we always have people who are like, who can beat who and who's the best hero and who's the whatever, blah, blah, blah. I want to reach a point where people who are reading really anything that I do, but Critter specifically, start to put her in the conversation of superhero things. It's not necessarily like who can beat the Hulk, Critter. No, that's dumb. But, within the nerd context of like, I don't know, X-23 and Critter or whatever, whatever it is. And to some degree that has still happened already. I've seen stuff online where people have like superhero pages and they're just like, who's the better character, who's whatever. And every now and then Critter pops into that. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? That's like so bizarre to me that she has at least dipped her toe into the culture to some capacity that every now and then it's like, who's better, Poison Ivy or Critter or whatever. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's crazy. But then the next step is them talking about the story, right? You want them to argue about the story. You want them to talk about what they think is going on and this kind of thing. And there's a guy at Comic Signal, which is my local shop here in Grand Rapids. And every time I'm in there, and he happens to be in there at the same time, he will come hunt me down and talk about the Critter issues that he just read. Like, I just read this issue. Now, what is going on here? What is this? What am I seeing? And we just will talk about the story. And I'll try not to like drop because I know where it's going. Because I'm not trying to like drop spoilers on him or anything. But he gets very geeked up about like the creator of the thing telling him things about the story, and that's just an unbelievable experience. So, I even though that's sort of what I want, it has sort of happened, but I want all of that to like keep growing.
All right, cool. I like it. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, tell me the question again. I want to make sure I got this right.
All right. So, what do you desire in indie comics aside from fame, success, and money?
Women. No, I got that. My wife only married me so she could get into Comic-Con for free. That's the only reason why she said yes.
So
I got it. What do I desire?
He just wants to write a Galactus series. That's all.
Big.
That's where's he at? Yeah, he's holding the sword of power. Yeah. What do I want out of comics? Can't say money. Can't say fame.
Or success.
See, notoriety falls under success. Mm-hmm. Being able to keep the lights on falls under money. Oh, yeah. I know. I want that whole tariff scenario to get eliminated, so I can get the figures finally produced over in China that I couldn't do because tariffs now made it $17.50 a figure for me as opposed to the 6 and change that we're going to be. Yeah, so that's what I want. It falls under money though, doesn't it? It falls under money.
Well, your desire, I would say, is to make
the figure
of your creations. Yeah, I mean that would be your desire.
That's
Yeah,
what I
that's
want. You know what I mean? I want to see. Yeah. Let me go down that rabbit hole for a moment more.
Mhm.
I want to see kids playing with my figures and have it inspire and trigger their imagination the way it did for me. Right? I mean, yeah, there you go.
There you
See,
go.
I was shit.
See?
Should I go get my prototypes, Tom? Should I get my prototypes? I gotta go fucking digging for my prototypes. You know, I mean, because I was a poor kid growing up, right? But I had GI Joe figures because they were $2.50 a pop. But on Monday he was, it was Spider-Man. On Tuesday he was Luke Skywalker. On Wednesday he was He-Man. On Thursday he was Panthro. On Friday he was fucking Batman. You know what I mean? It triggered my imagination. So I want my stuff to trigger the imagination of the younger kids. And fuck you, Tom. You're playing with it in front of me, buddy. I can't even play with my stuff because of bastardo. You bastardo. Oh, fuck you, Jose. I can't even move the arms up because the paint just got it glued in
So
place.
we're all showing off our figures. No, I'm just kidding.
Jake's been doing this for 5 minutes. He's already got toys. Like, yeah whatever, guys.
Shit, man. You know what? Fuck you guys. Yeah, I'm coming back. Go ahead. Take your time answering your own question, buddy. Shit.
All right. So, for myself, like I said, I'm doing my long running series. I'm doing several long running series, right? So the Oswald Chronicles, I think I'm about 1,500 pages in. Probably another 1,000 pages to finish. So my goal is obviously to finish it and to compile it into my favorite format, which is big, thick, fat omnibuses. So that's what I want. I'm probably gonna end up with 3 of them for this one story. So I think that's like my big goal. And the same thing for my other long running series, Tall Tales, and that one's to complete, and then it's just to complete them all. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, I teased Jay, so now I got to do this.
Yeah,
You mean
yeah,
like
yeah.
this?
Yeah, calm down. I'm down.
Right now,
Yeah, but don't worry about it. When I break mine out, it'll be at least twice that size. It'll be like, I'm looking to make Chihuahua killers. So, if you got a Chihuahua, watch out. All right.
Who do you guys use for printing, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay. So domestically for short runs, I use a company called Mix'em.
Okay.
Right? That's for short runs, trade paperbacks. I don't use them for comic books. I think they're a little bit too expensive. I would suggest if you're going to do comic books, Philbo, because he's coming up. But if you want for like what Tom, I know Tom didn't use this printer for it, but there's a company called Quinn out in China. They would be the ones I would use for that. So, all right.
Well,
all
yeah,
right.
especially if you're printing, if you want to print like a lot of units to have them,
Yes.
and you go to China, you can get a really low per unit cost.
All right, there you go, Jay. I give you the spotlight. There you go.
So if anybody's familiar with the Kenner Superpowers line, what McFarlane's doing right now, that's this was made simply because I thought, we could pull this one off. No, we couldn't. But the other stuff that I got, the 1/18 scale, the ones that are almost 4 inches, and they got 28 points, 32 points of articulation. It's tucked under a whole bunch of other boxes. So this is the easiest one that I can get right now. This is 1, 2, 3.
That is really cool.
6 points of articulation. Yeah.
Okay.
So listen, man. I mean, if you sold some of that stuff behind you, you might be able to get that done.
I know. Shit keeps going up, man. You know what I mean? That may have to happen.
When's Galactus going to pull his weight?
Dude. Things are going up, and they're never going to come back down. That's the problem. You know?
Unfortunately,
you got so used to it, they're not going to come back down.
So
I use comic impressions. for my printing here. If I ever get to the point where I need to order thousands of copies, I'll probably go for. I thought I pronounced it Keen printing, but Quinn Keen.
Everybody, I'm in New York. I'm an American. Quinn.
Yeah, sure.
They told me it's pronounced kin, right?
I think it is.
And I'm like tomato at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you spell it? How's it spelled?
But like QIN.
QIN. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like I mean, if I ever get to a point where I need to order like 1,000 copies or something, that's like the printer. That's the printer I'll go to because it's way more cost effective.
Look at it like this, dude. Print on demand, right? Is to get that quick turnaround, right?
Yeah.
To keep that revenue stream running. But offset printing, right? The bulk printing, that's for long-term growth. If you think you're going to be here for a while, right? You want to look at that.
Now, the
That's what I'm
flip side to
doing.
that,
I was
though, is
actually
that-
just asking out of plain curiosity. Like
Yeah.
I was just
Oh,
But the flip side to that is that if you
4 hours
order
later.
1,000 units, you got to have a place to put 1,000 units.
Yeah, 100%. You're going to be sleeping on it. I do.
Yeah. That's why earlier when I mentioned the thing about, going into the direct market, because if I go into the direct market, now I would go bi-monthly, 6 times a year, you end up with another batch of books. And even if you only end up with 200, by the end of the year, you'll have 1,200 books. And then by the end of year 2, you'll have 2,400 books. And, you're hoping that you're going to be pushing some of those out. But sometimes, you end up with more than just 200. You end up with.
You're right. Or look at it like this. Let's say you're going to do 10 conventions a year, right? And, you can sell 100 books in each convention.
Right.
In 2 years, you can move those 2,000 units.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So you want to look at that because you don't want to keep wasting money re-upping your inventory every 3 shows where you're paying $3 plus for a single issue. Whereas if you do bulk printing, right, you're paying less than $1. So you can earn some money there. But again, that's for long-term growth, right? If you know you're going to be doing this for a while and you got a plan that you can execute, then that's something you may want to look into. Plus, it's a fucking time saver too, right? You don't want to order books and, oh my God, are we going to send it to here? Am I going to send it to my job? Is there going to be somebody at home to pick it up? What happens if they don't? And I got to pick it up at either the FedEx or the UPS or the post office place. And that's still going to take you another maybe hour or so. If you're looking to save time, yeah, right. But not immediate time over time.
Sure.
Like I said, if we were to get into it, there's like a 4-hour debate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there would be a 4-hour debate. We would never come to a conclusion.
Right.
We would only partially agree on a number of subjects.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
That's how we have this conversation all the time.
Because just a quick highlight, right? Calderon has a house. He has the storage space. He doesn't really do print. He doesn't really do bulk printing. I have an apartment. I don't have the space, and I do the bulk printing. So to each their own, right? Not telling you how to run your own business.
No, right. Yeah, everyone's going to require different solutions and everything. And, when I look at the panel, I'm just like, 3 completely different, contrasts here. And when I was looking at printers myself, I noticed that there's always some sort of trade-off. There's always, what do they say when you buy a service job? Cheap, fast, good, but pick 2. It's like where do you fall on that spectrum? And so I was like, hey, while I'm here, ask the guys who were doing it. So I was just plainly curious. Yeah.
I got something along those lines, right? Don't pay for a master class to gain the experience. Just go into podcasts and talk to guys that have been doing this for a while, and girls that have been doing this, women that have been doing this for a while. They will gladly share the information with you. All right. And you take what you can apply to what you're going to do. Right. And even the stuff that you don't apply to what you do, you can learn from it. And maybe adjust it. Right. But don't spend fucking tens of thousands of fucking dollars to pay for somebody's fucking master fucking course.
So the 6 courses I just bought, you wouldn't recommend?
No.
They okay.
Just get a refund. Just get a refund now.
Shit, Scott Snyder does one and it's $75 for 6. There you go. Get that information from somebody who's important.
There you go. Jay, you got a question?
Yeah. How do you turn somebody who supports your comic book into somebody who advocates for your comic books, right? Who evangelizes, who shouts it from the mountaintop and saying it's the next best thing to sliced milk, right? I'm sliced bread. Sliced milk. Fuck it.
Sliced milk is cheap.
Motherfucking milk. Right, there you go. Right? How do you think you should go about doing that?
All right, cool. Were we back in Jake? I think we're back in Jake.
Yeah, I'll start it off. In my opinion, Brian touched up on it earlier. I do think the new angle, and some of this comes from the social media people that I consult with. It is parasocial first. It is personal connection first. It is genuine personal connection first. And the more I've been leaning into that, the more it seems to be true. Because with just the saturation across, I'll say all industries, what's the difference between your superhero and that superhero, or what's the difference between your song and that person's song? And it kind of comes, I think you peel back another layer and it goes back to people's, like, they want to be on, the team of such and such and so and so. And, if you're not advocating for yourself, I think Jay said that earlier, then, who else is going to do it for you? So, when you get on there and you start putting yourself in front of screens, then that goes into the whole, rabbit hole of, why would I watch your 30-second TikTok over this other person? What's stopping my thumb from just scrolling up to the next one? And I do think that does start at trying to authentically find genuine connection with other people. I think it's very obvious when we all see it all over social media when someone's just going through the motions, doing something, or even as creatives, like when we're just trying to like get it done and finished, a little bit of passion is lost in, kind of like that belt fed process. And, I don't want to start ranting and rambling again, but I already am. But I think it does really start with just being genuine, showing up transparent, and, trying to find other people to connect with rather than just saying, if I hold up my little comment and I'm just like, hey, yeah, you guys want to see this, blah, 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 like, go give me money, even though we're complete strangers. I just don't think that works.
Okay.
All right, cool. Kaden, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so with this one being so new, I feel like I don't have an answer for this one. Trying to get other people interested in my comics to the point where they're shouting out the rooftops, that's what I'm trying to currently learn at the moment. So I don't really have an answer for you on that one.
Okay. We ask these questions because we're curious too. We don't know.
Yeah. I like Jake's answer, to be honest. I was like, I should write this down.
Dude, honestly, you could text me at like 3 a.m. I'm so neurotic, I will probably reply in 8 minutes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely.
And I mean that seriously, like, and that goes for anyone here. Like, reach out to me, like, for anything, with anything, right? Rising tide raises all ships. That's just how I am.
Yeah, thank you.
Brian, what are your thoughts?
So I kind of would want to echo what Jake just said. So it goes beyond in terms of like making like a good story or a good comic. Like people who get to that level where they're shouting from the rooftops about your work, they do that because they find like a connection within your work, and that comes about through kind of like putting yourself into it. It's how vulnerable you want to get with your piece is all up to you, but like it's that's in terms of how you organically do that, it's just something that can build over time. You know, you just build a story, build a world that people connect with, and people, characters that they can either root for or understand. You know, there's something that feels something that relates to themselves. So that's kind of like, to me, that's sort of what the building block is in terms of building up that kind of a fan base, is, some like building up that passion, because they love your work because they see themselves in it. So I just think, like, make something genuine and authentic to yourself, and you'll get people attached to it over time. It's just it's either that, or maybe you hold like a family member hostage. And tell them, like, if you don't force my book or share my book to 5-10 different people, I might have to feed them like the worst kind of food that I could get in my vicinity. I don't know.
It's the National Lampoon method. Buy this issue or we'll shoot your dog.
There you go.
There are various methods one could impose upon, but I would recommend ones that don't break the law, and make something authentic, to where you get people invested and emotionally, like, connected into your work. So
Cool. Tom, what are your thoughts?
I don't think you can, because I'll be more specific, but I don't think you can, because people are who they are, and they are either, for example, social media, they're happy to be here, we're going to talk about that stuff, or they're not. I have plenty of people who have been buying from me for 16 years who are almost silent on the internet, on their own. They will engage when I do something. And here's a thing. Oh, this is great. This is cool, whatever. But as far as them taking the step of, I'm going to make a post today about Critter Comics or Big Dog Inc. in general or whatever, I don't think there's a way to coerce that in just a general organic sense. Now, the flip side to that coin is it's very easy to get people to talk about what you're doing if you do things along the lines of what Polito used to do, where he would have a post saying, like, hey, post something about Coffin Comics and do a hashtag something, and at the end of the week we're going to give away 10 books to people who hashtagged our stuff. So that's sort of like an invitation to talk about you on their own, because it's not a matter of interacting with a Coffin thread. It's a matter of, we want you to go tell your followers, hey, I bought this book from whatever it is. I bought this book from Coffin, hashtag such and such and such, whatever it is. And then people win stuff. And then when they win stuff, then they get excited. Oh my God, I just won this from Coffin Comics. There it is. And then you do it again, you do it again. Polito would give away a lot of stuff during his campaigns too. So he would get those reactions from people like, oh my God, I'm one of the 10 people that won this thing. And then that makes people go, oh, this guy's giving away free stuff. Like, let me see what's going on. What are these books? But and then over time, it is the result of all of that is an interactive community that does start to do it on its own. But it's something that you have to kind of build through snake oil to a degree, or you have to just sort of manufacture it in ways that people will get invested in it and decide, like, yeah, I can hashtag Critter Toys are cool and see if I can win something, fancy. But that's the reality. And that's algorithmic. And that's pushing your brand out in through, if 100 people do it, that's pushing your brand through 100 different algorithms, 100 different avenues to 100 different peoples, 100 different people. And then you hope that there's some sort of, return on that. But I think you really have to genuinely manufacture it to some degree to make them engage on their own. They can love what you do. And every time you put a book out, oh my God, I'm going to get that new book. I'm going to get that new book. But to get them to take the next step of, I'm going to talk about it, it just takes a different set of personality, and you can't, I don't think you can train that so much as you can sort of incentivize it. Yes, that's a great term. Yeah, incentivize it, and then maybe some of those guys get used to it, and then they do start to do it on their own just because they're having a good time, because the community builds and grows and they all kind of feed off of each other. And that's the Polito template. He's done that now for however many years with Coffin Comics. So that's kind of where I come from on that.
That's a great one. Yeah.
I have no friggin' idea. I've been self-publishing and producing for a long time, right? And I have people come up to me, they thank me for the work and they enjoy the work and that sort of thing. But to get them to to go out there and really, really pop it for me. I mean, I've had people do it, right? But it's like how to get them to do it, I have no freaking idea. To be honest with you. You understand? It doesn't even enter my space because I've discussed it with you, I've discussed it with Tom before. I honestly don't have time. You understand? I don't have time to really think of it like that. I'm like, my head is too far gone with dealing with artists and lettering.
Too far gone. Just say too far gone.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
too far gone. There you go. It certainly is that. All right. Anyway, Jay, please ask your own question.
Yeah, no, I was looking for an answer.
I was just gonna say real quick though, like even when someone does like say something to somebody else, like promote your book, you wouldn't know about it unless they tag you on social media or something too.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, people could be talking and we don't know about it, but I think the crux of the question is getting them on social media to be like, I love this book, and you go get this book.
Right. Yeah. Well, one thing that I do is whenever I send out the packages, Brian, you got a physical package or you had a digital?
I had both.
Yeah, both. So you had the sticker. You saw the sticker on the package that said do an unboxing, tag us, UCS Now or Unstoppable Comics, and I'll send you a
digital. That's what you mean. No, I just okay. I didn't understand your question, so my bad. No, I don't think that's not what I do.
No, I did that. I had some people, post their unboxings and post that stuff. And it sounds cliche, right? And it sounds the total opposite of urgency, but you got to come up with quality books on a consistent basis. You got to let them know that you're dependable, and they'll let others know about it too. I got people that come to the booth at different comic book conventions and they bring others. Hey, check this place out. Hey, check this stuff out. Right. I don't know other than being fucking a cool dude that gives them good shit that got them to bring other people to the booth. I don't know.
It's easy to do on a small scale, like you just talked about. Friends will talk to friends and so on and so on and so on. And that's all great. But to get the larger scale, the next step of what we were talking about here, that's really the hard part. Right. I think one of the best things you can do to help yourself is, and this is something that I don't do really, is merchandise in the context of like shirts and stuff. Because if you can get people to wear your shirts at like Comic-Con, then you have people that would ask like, oh, what is that on your shirt? And then you can say, oh, hopefully, these guys are over there and go talk to Rosario or whatever. It's, Steve Jobs used to ask the question, why do people buy Apple and not the competitor? And his answer was because it's social currency.
Huh.
And until you turn your brand into a social currency, you won't have the fanatics like Polito has behind him. And Polito's not just a matter of Coffin Comics. He's been doing it for 40 years. You know, he's going back into the 80s and 90s when he's been doing it. So he's even me, 20 years, he's still got 20 on me. So and he's gone through all kinds of iterations of Lady Death and whatever. So it's just a consistent identity of your brand, what it is, what it stands for, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you have to just kind of build the community over time. But like we kind of said, there are ways to incentivize the community to rally around you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we talked about Gary Vee a little while ago, right? And we know he likes to break down the difference between branding and sales, right? And we got to do branding. We have to do branding. Mm-hmm. And the biggest difference is that Nike does not sell you their sneakers. Coca-Cola does not sell you their soda. They let you know what they're making, and they give you the opportunity to buy that on your own. There's some earworm stuff that goes into it that keeps it in your brain. Yeah, but you know, we have to establish our personal brand, right? Yeah. I have to establish our personal brand.
True.
No, I do think a lot of it comes down to brand identity. And, you know, when you kind of like when you sit back and think of one of what's one of the biggest pop culture icons, you know, you say Nike, you say Coke, you know, like Harry Potter, like what is it about those? And it comes down to that brand identity. And, you know, like I could probably ask most of you in here right now, like, hey, what's your house? Like, you know, oh, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, you know, we all have like some idea about that. And, you know, I talked a little about the Ninja Turtles earlier, and like some people, they love Michelangelo, some people love Raphael. And Tom, I think there is a degree of how do I say, you can't necessarily make someone, I don't think, a fanatic, because I would also partially argue they were always a fanatic. They just didn't know your work existed yet. And, you know, you could be like, I kind of think of the concept, like you could be the biggest peach farmer in the world, and at the end of the day, someone's just not going to like peaches. But then someone's going to really, really love peaches. And, you know, we don't get to decide who does like what and who doesn't like what. You know, all we can decide is to do the best job that we can. And then hopefully that we put it in front of someone who does end up loving it. And I do
know
think
it exists.
Say again.
Let people know it exists.
Yeah, 100%. And I do think a lot of that does come down to like identity. Like I think we all here have like our favorite TV shows, our favorite characters, our favorite, you know, and I do think that comes down to like a really fundamental innate sense of identity. So like taking a little bit of what both Jay and Tom said, I think there's actually a lot of overlap, you know, within that.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is I started thinking about the question, and I've been just over the last few weeks, we've been having a few discussions about what we can do to raise awareness, right? And one of them is reviews, right? One of the biggest sites to review on is Goodreads, right? And Goodreads has a section for comic books. I don't think it's very well used, right? But it's something that I think independent comic books would benefit from utilizing. If you can get your fans on there to start being evangelical about your book on that site, giving you reviews, giving you positive reviews, right? That at least begins that discourse for you where, you know, they start talking about it on there. Same thing goes with Amazon reviews. If you're selling your book on Amazon and people giving you positive reviews, it makes it easier, right? When you introduce it, when somebody new is coming in, they look at it, they're like, oh, okay, well, these 10 or 15 people really enjoyed it, maybe I'll like it, right? And then, you go on from there, right? So I think Goodreads, and there are obviously other sites, but I mean, that's the one I'm most familiar with. So, yeah. So at least I guess I didn't know nothing. So it's something. All right,
It's one of the
gentlemen.
things you learned in the last 6 months.
Exactly. Yeah, that is well, probably a little bit longer than that. But gentlemen, we've made it to hour 2. So thank you so much. All of you were fantastic. And let's start with Brian. Where can we find you and your work, sir?
Well, below my name on the screen there, you'll see like a link tree to Fractured Heart Productions. You could also type that in the in the search bar, Fractured Heart Productions link tree, or just in general, you'll be able to find me. Find an online store where you can buy some of my work. You could also like The Wretched and some merch from it as well, like stickers and Tom's favorite things bookmarks. And we got also buttons. But yeah, you'll be able to find me on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, and Substack. Substack, Fractured Heart Productions. The rest of them, just my name, Brian Mannell. And and be sure to check out my pre-launch page for The Wretched #2 if you ever get a chance.
All right, cool.
It does
Kaden,
look good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
So right now you can just find me on Kickstarter. It's just the Adam Delta Psi. You can use either the symbols or spell out Delta Psi. I don't have a lot of social media for it at the moment. I do have a YouTube channel, just YouTube Adam Delta Psi. You can follow me there. I like to keep updates on that, just kind of like little trailers I make and where we're at and things like that.
All right, cool. Tom? Oh, Jake, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Ashes Over Neon everywhere. You can type it in Google. You'll find the website. Go on TikTok. You'll see my ugly mug 3 times a day. You'll see me going live. Instagram wasn't really the best for the analytics, but you'll still find a little bit of stuff there. Yeah, the TikToks, the YouTubes. On YouTube, I do some longer form stuff. I get into more of the music side of things. If you want to hear more of the soundtrack, I go through like the mixing process, mastering this, blah, blah, blah. So just, on different platforms will find different things, but just Ashes Over Neon everywhere.
All right, cool. Tom?
BigDogInc.com. Get your books. We got 2 shows left this year. Be in Monroe in September with CB Zane, and we're going to be debuting the new Critter series artist. He's coming up from Texas to be there for the show. And then in Akron, we wrap it up with Akron Comic Con in November.
Cool. Jay?
UnstoppableComics.com is where you find all of my social media links. We're on everything. It just depends on what it is because the name's changed. So check out UnstoppableComics.com. You'll find all my links there. On Friday nights, Comic Book Streamland on YouTube with these guys. Brian, I haven't seen you show up in the comments in a while, buddy. Come on, just say what's up. All you got to do is say what's up. Sometimes people win shit. Just take part of the chat, right? We give away pins, books. Yes, we've given away pins, we've given away books, we've given away the Holofoil trading cards. One time, everybody in the panel gave something away, and there was only one winner, and he won a ton of shit. I got coffee from Marvin and a gold foil book, fucking a 3-pack from Tom. Calderon sent a whole bunch of digital stuff. I sent cards. That dude, Brad Arney. I haven't seen him in a minute, but he won a lot of shit. So that's Friday. Then Sunday here on Indie Comics Explained with these guys. Then this Saturday, I'm going to be where in Massachusetts, Brian?
Leominster, are you?
Leominster.
Plastic City, is it?
Plastic City. I'll be there. I'll be doing a panel. Sometimes you got to fit in. It's really affordable. It's $10 to get into the convention. It's a really awesome thing, and they want you to spend money at the tables. And October, New York Comic Con booth 1971.
Okay.
Very nice.
Okay.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those different places. Primarily now on Kickstarters, Sunday nights with these guys, Friday nights with these guys. But like I said, primarily on Kickstarter. Go check out the Oswald Chronicles currently running. And just remember, everyone, please check out the show notes. In the show notes are links to all of these creators' campaigns. So click on those links, buy some books. These creators are all creating like books that they're proud of, books that they're excited about, and books they just really, really want to put out in the world, right? And I'm happy for them, proud of them. Go buy those books because they're awesome books. And without your help, they're not going to be able to continue to do it. So please help them out because they're all awesome. So thank you, everyone. And just remember, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.